Honorable
members
members,
of the staff of Parliament. Good morning, Advocate Arens. Good morning,
Chair.
good
Advocate
morning, Chair and
Maria Mokhai.
colleagues and parliamentary colleagues.
Good morning, Chair.
Welcome.
Good morning, members.
Welcome to the meeting. Welcome to the new year, 2026. I hope that you had enough time to rest, rejuvenate yourselves. We are now in the new year where we must continue with the work of the committee and do it to the last day of the 20th of February 2026. Can I take a round and check from the African National Congress, Honorable Sangoni? Are you present in the meeting?
Present, alive and kicking. Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning and compliments of the new year to all colleagues on the platform. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Chief Whip, Honorable Ntuli. Are you present?
The Chief Whip is joining shortly, Chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nhlanhla.
Yes, Chair, I'm here.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sokanyile.
Honorable Sokangile is joining momentarily, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. The MKP, Honorable Nombalo.
Yes, I'm here, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Skosana.
He will join shortly.
Okay, Honorable Shongwe.
He will join shortly, Ida.
Thank you. The DA, Honorable Breitenbach.
Good morning, Chair. She will be with us. She is on the platform. She just said she'll join shortly.
Okay, Honorable Topper. I assume the person speaking is Honorable Cameron, isn't it?
It is indeed, Chair.
Okay.
And why would that be?
Honorable Breitenbach.
Yes.
We are moving to the EFF, Honorable Malema.
Morning, Chair. Honorable Malema will be joining us shortly. This is Honorable Leanne.
Thank you so much, Honorable Matthews. Can we move to the IFP, Honorable Mwango? The Patriotic Front, the Patriotic Alliance, Honorable Salt.
Salute, Chairperson, because boss.
Thank you so much, Honorable Salt. Can we move to the Freedom Front plus Honorable Vessels?
Present, thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much. Can we move to Action SA, Honorable James?
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I'm here.
Thank you so much, honorable members. I think the meeting has a quorum. Can we check Advocate Arens? Are you here?
Good morning, Honorable Chair, Honorable members, my colleagues and parliamentary colleagues, and everyone on the platform.
Thank you so much.
Compliments of the season. We are here, and we are also joined by a new member of our team, whom I will introduce with your permission
Okay, can I check Advocate Mohaidzi? Is she here?
Good morning, Chair. Yes, I am present. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Advocate Arense, you can introduce the new member of the team.
Chair, our new member is Bongiwe Mkizi. She is a member of the Johannesburg Bar, and she has been brought in to replace Lerato Sikalala, who unfortunately had to leave us at the end of November after the Matlala hearings at Kgosi Mapuru because of other commitments. So it's a big loss to us. But Bongiwe has joined us, and she has, I think she was appointed in the first week or so of December, and she's been fully on board, and we welcome her, and we're happy to have her on board. Thank you, Chair. She should be on the platform, and maybe she could indicate and maybe show who she is. Thank you.
Do we address her as Bongiwe Mkize, or do we say Advocate Mkize?
I suppose it depends on the setting. She is one of our colleagues. She's an advocate. I'm sure whatever respectful address would be in order. Thank you.
Yeah. I think let's take the customary practice that we initiated here. We have been addressing all of them as Advocate Zikalala and Advocate Mohaid. So it will also be befitting and also to accord her the decorum of this meeting and properly address her as Advocate Mkiza. I think that is proper. Is that agreeable, Advocate Aransa?
Absolutely, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Tuli and your team, are you here? Or anybody standing on behalf of Dr. Tuli Bonani and the team, are you here?
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, members and colleagues. We are here.
Thank you so much. Welcome, all of you. Can I check if we have apologies from any one of us?
Chair, the only apology that we received is from Honorable Kola Banat.
What is the apology?
I'm just trying to get to it. Yeah, actually, she says that she'll be traveling all day.
Okay.
That's the only one, Chair.
Okay, no, it's fine. I see Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Skosana, and Honorable Shongwe have also joined. Honorable Taupa as well is here. Honorable Breitenbach is here as well. Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Sangoni, and I are in the Northwest. We are traveling across the length and breadth of the province because of, due to organizational commitments. We are preparing for the January 8 celebrations happening this weekend. I must announce it, Honorable Breitenbach, so that if anybody comes and says they paid for our accommodation, you must know that we were here. But I don't think that we will ever have the story of somebody paying for our accommodation. So in the event our network get disrupted, we plead with members to understand that we may be traveling from one point to another, but we will do our best to be in the meeting and follow all the proceedings of this meeting. And Honorable Nhlanhla, in case I get cut, you know the rituals. Let's make sure that the ship does not sink.
Copied, Chair. I'm saying, Chair, copied.
Thank you so much. Let me...
Honorable Chair, good morning, colleagues. May I actually also register my presence? Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Mbangazita, good morning and compliments of the new season.
Oh, same to you, Chair and colleagues. Thank you so much.
You are welcome to the meeting. Honorable members, let me formally welcome you to this meeting and thank you for the sterling work that we have done in the last quarter of 2025. It has not been very easy when we started, but due to our extraordinary abilities, we were able to find each other and formed a formidable team that was able to execute the tasks before it. And this committee has been given an extension last year. This is the second and the last extension that will end on the 20th of February 2026. We have called this meeting so that we can look at matters that will help us as a committee to do our work and complete it on the set date. This may not be the last meeting like we requested members when we sent out an alert for today's meeting that if there are any other issue that members feel can help us, members can always raise those issues and we can decide when do we deal with such matters. I also want to thank Advocate Arendse and his team, Advocate Mohaidzi and Advocate Zigalala, for the work that they have done and the courage that they have shown, the excellence on the part of the statements that were coming before the committee and how they guided the proceedings of this committee for us to be where we are today. And Advocate Zigalala was one of the vital cogs in our legal team. And we also want to take this opportunity and welcome Advocate Bongiwe Mkhize, wish her well in her new responsibilities in this committee. And we are convinced, Advocate Mkhize, that you are going to be a very good addition. You will contribute in your own way and make this committee to succeed. The members of staff of Parliament, we want to thank you so much. We are here because of your commitment, because of the coordination that you have done for the committee to be able to rise and do the work that it has done so far. And we are very much aware that you have been working even during the holidays. Yesterday, when I met with the technical team, Nicolette assured me that the report will be ready before the committee at the time the committee wants to consider it, and that she has prepared a framework for the committee, and the framework will be made available for the committee members to make their own inputs, so that when they go to do the draft report, the committee has guided. It just shows the extent of commitment that members of the technical team have shown to the committee, and we want to thank you so much for that. We're once again, Nicolette, going to deal with that long report. And we can never stop thanking you for the meticulous way in which you compiled the report on public submissions. It must have been a very enduring exercise, but you were never daunted. You kept on going on until you produced the final product that you presented in the committee. The report which was applauded by all members of this committee. And for that, we once again want to thank you so much. Honorable members, let me take you through the items that we are going to deal with in today's meeting. Number one, and the reason why we put this item as number one is with the item deals with public submissions. Ms. Nicolette van Zyl presented a report, an executive summary of the public submissions, which had recommendations on what the approach of the committee should be with regard to those public submissions. Further than that, she made the whole report available, and we agreed that because the report was voluminous, members will have time during the festive to read the report at their own time and at their own pace. So when we were preparing for this meeting, I requested her to come and present the recommendations, especially on those matters that may have to be scheduled for appearance before the committee. The reason why this item should be number one is because when we come to deal with the report on consultations and the proposed timetable of appearance, the committee would at that stage be knowing how many matters from the public submissions may have to be added on the timetable. And so what that means, Advocate Arensen, Advocate Mokhwaitz, Advocate Mukize, what that means is that if the committee agrees with the recommendation that the following matters must appear before the committee, it then means the timetable of appearances may have to be amended to accommodate those matters emanating from public submissions. And once Ms. van Zyl has presented item number one, which is the recommendations on public submissions, then the second item will be the report on consultations from the senior counsel and his team. We agreed last year on the names of Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, General Patlani, Mr. Julius Mukwadasi from Ekurhuleni, Mr. Robert McBride, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, and Brown Holtz as the 6 key witnesses that have to be consulted during the time when Parliament was rising. We will get a report on how many of those witnesses have been successfully consulted, and how many are outstanding, and when will the consultations be concluded. And when we deal with these witnesses, I want members to also remember that when we went to Hosimampuru, we had two generals from the SAPS, General Musikidi and General Kosi Sintumu. General Musikidi was not available at that time because he was leading the team that was coordinating the G20 security processes. And General Sintumule at that time was abroad. And my understanding and recollection of the decision of the committee was that because the statement of General Musikidi was very short, and that she was also acting at the time, she wouldn't have played much of a role in the matters that are being investigated within the realm of our terms of reference. And that in the event members may want to probe her statement, that can be done through written questions, which she can then provide written responses. I'm putting this matter before the committee so that if I'm wrong in terms of my understanding, the committee members can correct me and provide a way forward on how the statement of, because she cannot make any other statement unless if members have questions that they may want to raise with her, or members want her to appear before the committee. And then the same was going to happen with General Kosi Sintumule, but General Kosi Sintumule has returned to the committee and requested that she wants to appear because during the appearance of the head of IDEC, there are matters that have been raised with which she strongly feels that she must be given an opportunity to appear before the committee and clarify. Such ordinarily, she would have been comfortable with written questions and her providing written responses, but after the head of IDEC appeared before the committee, she wrote and said there are matters that were raised, and she strongly feels she would be prejudiced if she was not going to be given an opportunity to appear before the committee. So the reason why I'm giving this background is for the members to look at the period between the 13th of January and probably the 6th of February. The technical team is suggesting that the committee must conclude hearings on the 6th of February so that they can have enough time to prepare a report before a report for the consideration of the committee, and that should happen between February 6th and probably somewhere the 15th or 16th of February, so that the committee can at least have 4 or 5 days to consider the report. So when we deal with the program, it must be in such a way that we look at the allocation of days. I mean, we look at the time that is available and how each day can be allocated. And for instance, Advocate Arendse, the committee may not have time to allocate certain witnesses 2 days. For instance, we don't think we need 2 days with General Pathan. We can work until very late if it comes to a push, but we may not allocate him 2 days. So those are the things that the committee members will look into, and free space for public submissions or any other witness that the committee feels that it's a compelling matter for that witness to appear before, between the 13th of January. Not the 13th, the 14th of January and the 6th of February. And committee members must also understand that we have decided not to use Mondays. With the limited time that we have, a consideration may have to be made whether we can compromise and use Mondays. Fridays is acceptable. We can always try and push that at least by lunchtime every Friday we finish our work. I think that is what can help us. And lastly, is that we, maybe second last, is that having concluded our report or towards the conclusion of our report, if there are witnesses that are implicated in our report, we may, in terms of our terms of reference, we have agreed that we will alert them and share with them the report, the part that concerns them, so that they can make their own inputs before the report is, even if they cannot change the report, but the principles of natural justice militate that we should share that part of the report with them for their own observations and comments. And I think those are the issues, honorable members. If there is any other matter regarding the program, will arise as and when the program is presented, and members should be free, including matters that may be consequential. Members should be free to raise those matters. And then the committee, the last item is that the committee has requested that we write to the NPA and request a report on the charges that witness Ngabinde have spoken about against Paul O'Sullivan. And that letter was written to the NPA. The response of the NPA has been made available to the members of the committee before Christmas last year. This morning, we once again made that response available. It will be the last item. In case there is no other matter that members of the committee may want to add, it will be the last item on today's agenda, and members will talk to it and express their own views on how do they think the matter can be taken forward in case members feel that the response is inadequate. I just felt I must give that background to assist the meeting so that when we deal with the items, members know exactly the kind of the decisions that have to be made in today's meeting as we prepare for next week's appearances. And maybe one other thing on the program that we may have to look at even before you present it, Advocate Aaron says that if we allocate Patlane, General Patlane 1 day and General Kumalo 2 days, we may have to consider starting with Patlane on Wednesday. Because if we have him on Friday, it means we will not finish before 1 o'clock on Friday. But if we take him on Wednesday, we can run with him for whatever time of the night until we finish. And then have General Kumalo on Thursday and Friday. And that is what will make us to be able to finish before 1 o'clock or just after 1 on Friday to allow members to go and attend to their social and political commitments in the communities where they are leaders. Honorable members, this is your meeting. It's in your hands. I'm going to check with yourselves before we go to the presentations. If there is any matter that members may want to raise, I see the hand of Honorable Skosana is up. I'm going to do the rotation. I will start with the ANC and check if there is any matter you want to raise. Honorable Sanguin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, I think a lot of the issues that you were covering are probably agenda items, just giving some context to them. So at this point, I wouldn't want to really go into them. But maybe just to make the point that I think when we ended the year last year, we said we should also consider the possibility of working over weekends. I'm saying that because of, amongst others, the issue that you raised about once the report being completed, you may need to afford an opportunity to people who have findings against them to answer, and we may need a little bit more time on that. But our understanding is the same as yours on General Musigiri, that it was going to be a statement. I think we also welcome General Sentumule's request to appear before the committee, and we would want that to be scheduled in, and then agree with you on the number of days for General Patlan. One point that we do have to make, Chair, which I'm not sure if it's in the next report, but to emphasize the importance of ensuring that members of the public are afforded an opportunity to appear before the committee. We did a lot of work calling for submissions, and while we would have the condensed report, I think we should look at how we are also able to factor that in terms of the hearings. But we'll engage the detail of the other matters when the reports are presented. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. Is that adequate for me to move to the next party?
Yes, Chairperson, thank you.
Okay, the MKP.
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon, good morning to all my colleagues. It's of a great felicity to be back again and seeing the chairperson wearing that emblem is for that beautiful car, you know. Yeah, no, not Puma, but this other one. I think it needs its own out of committee, that one. Yeah, really. And indeed, Chair, you said Brian Mukhosi has not paid for your accommodation this time in the Northwest. We really appreciate that.
I did not mention the name of any person.
Yeah, and but Brian did this season. Hopefully, he will tell us when he comes to the other committee. Perhaps he has paid again. Who knows? But that, Chair, the issue of I think when you mentioned names, if you remember, we agreed about the 6 people really that we agreed upon. And there was an issue, I'm not sure whether I've forgotten, you know, if my memory serves me well. I think we've mentioned in this, the former Hawk boss, Mkotedi, if I remember, Advocate Mkotedi, maybe at a later stage, I might be wrong. But I thought that we are starting on the 12th, but it looks like you say we are starting on the 14th, Chair. Can you clear that? Is it the 13th or 14th?
Wednesday, the 14th.
The 14th. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
My colleagues are there. You know, there's Nomvalo and Shongwe. Thank you.
I want to check with them if they are comfortable with your input, or we proceed to the next part.
Yeah, no, I just want to greetings to everyone, greetings to you, Chair, and compliments of the new season. I just want to raise a very quick point, and I think the legal team maybe might assist us in that regard. The point that I want to raise, Chair, is that our interviews and our work so far has been mainly focusing, or predominantly rather, on SAPs, whereas the terms of reference have a very broad scope. They give us a responsibility to probe the NPA and the judiciary. I don't know, maybe it might be because of the evidence that has been led, which precipitates the approach that we are currently applying, or the focus rather. So I just want to get some clarification on them, that what is the problem here? Why is the focus mainly on SAPs? Is it because of the evidence that has been led? It does not point us to a direction of investigating the NPA and the judiciary, or maybe it's other reasons which we do not know. I just want to raise that as a concern, Chair. Or maybe if when they make a presentation of public submissions, maybe that might be addressed through the submissions that have been made, which will necessitate the committee to probe matters which relate to the NPA and the judiciary as well. That is the issue that we wanted to raise at this stage. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm writing the issue down after the NPA response, so that in case towards the end of the agenda items, if the matter that you raise shall have not been clarified, you can still remind me, but I'm writing it down as the last item on the agenda. Is that okay?
That's okay, Chair.
Okay. Honorable Shongwe, is there anything you want to say before I proceed to the DA?
No, compliments, Chair. Thank you, and greeting to members. No, Chair, I'm covered by Honorable Nomvalo, because my concern was more of there were names that we have mentioned before, and I noticed now that you've only mentioned 6. But my main concern were the names of the judges, the prosecutors, and the head of the country that we mentioned before. So as we talk about the report, it somehow closes that space of the inclusions of those names. So I was just concerned, but I think Honorable Nomvalo's input covers me on that regard. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. The Democratic Alliance.
Thank you, Chair. All covered for now. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, the Economic Freedom Fighters. The EFF.
Oh, I'm so sorry. So I'm not used to unmuting myself. Good morning again, Chair and members and the legal team and our technical team. Chair, that perhaps give us an update, or maybe we can do it at the back of one of our hearings on the additional support that we've requested from Parliament, especially with the legal team, so we are able to do our work more efficiently and effectively. So that would be one, if we could talk to that. The second one would be that we haven't the witnesses, and maybe that would come up in the report. the witnesses we need are the members of parliament. So we have like at least two where we've had Lieutenant General who had made, serious allegations against them. So they would need to appear, which was Honorable Diane and Honorable Adams. So I see their names are not on the list, but I know we also haven't reached the section of members of parliament. So maybe that would come up in the report. So if we can just be cognitive of that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you so much. Honorable Mnango.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, colleagues, and good morning to the technical staff. Compliments of the new season to all of us. I think we are covered, Honorable Chairperson. We are satisfied with the outline that you have actually given. Perhaps we could all. I heard that Honorable Sangoni was actually suggesting that perhaps we should not shy away from considering actually working even on Saturdays. I was going to support you, Chairperson, in actually considering Mondays rather than Saturdays, considering that we are soon entering the local government election, season. Saturdays might be problematic to some of us. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay. That is a fair point. Honorable Honorable Sols.
Covered, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sols. Honorable Vessels.
I'm covered. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable James.
I'm covered, thanks you.
Thank you. Honorable members, I'm going to request you that let us help each other in this meeting so that there is no issue that falls between the cracks. We have to do our work in the name of the Parliament of the Republic, and most importantly, in the name of the people of this country. And that is why the point that we must not turn a blind eye to public submissions, even if we were going to listen to 2 or 3 of them. It makes a very important statement that the people of South Africa have a parliament that can listen to their grievances. And those grievances can be televised live, being processed by parliament, aggrieved parties appearing before parliament, before their public representatives, pleading for their leadership to help them to deal with the challenges that they face in their daily lives. Even if it was going to be 1, 2, or 3 matters, let us be seen doing that, honorable members, acting in the name of those people who may not have access to public institutions, acting in the names of those people who may not have the voice for themselves, or those people who may not have representation. We are here to act on their behalf and make sure that their aspirations are realized. So any other matter, honorable members, this committee is your committee. We must make sure that we deal with those issues. As we have said it here, that we have been allocated up until the 20th of February to conclude our work. Let's do our best, put our best legs forward, and make sure that the work of the committee succeeds. So we are going to allow the presentations to happen. All those matters that you raised, Honorable Nombalo, Honorable Matthews, Honorable Skosan, if they are not covered in the presentations, that would have been made here today, those matters must not go away. You need to raise them in this meeting. Even if today's meeting may not deal with them exhaustively, we can still decide on another day. For instance, on Monday, we don't have any business except traveling. If there is any other matter that will not have been exhaustively dealt with, we can still decide to deal with it on Monday. And like Honorable Mnango has said, if it's not possible for us to meet over the weekend, to do hearings over the weekends, we can still use some part of the weekend for virtual committee meetings and deal with any other matter that committee members feel that has to be decided. Miss Nicolette van Zyl, we are going to start with you. And then from there, when you conclude, we take Advocate Arendse. And thereafter, Parliament team will talk to the response from the NPA. And then once the presentations are concluded, I'm going to remind honorable members on how we deal with each and every item through our rotation process. Thank you so much. The presentation starts now.
Good morning, Honourable Chair, Honourable Members. Thank you for the opportunity to present and compliments of the new season. Members, I promise this one will be a bit shorter than the previous one. So the purpose of this presentation is to provide an overview of the public submissions received by the ad hoc committee. It highlights considerations relevant to the identification of witnesses in support of the committee's mandate. Chair, honourable members, the submissions are really valuable to the committee's work. It provides insight into patterns of alleged conduct rather than isolated incidents. It assists the committee in identifying systemic risks and governance gaps, and it supports the committee's oversight function by highlighting areas requiring further interrogation. In terms of the overview of the public submissions that was received, as members are aware, we received a substantial number of written submissions from members of the public and interested stakeholders. The recurring themes across the submissions include alleged political or external interference in policing functions, corruption and collusion involving members of law enforcement and associated institutions, weaknesses in internal oversight, disciplinary and accountability systems, also intimidation, fear of reprisal, and limited protection for whistleblowers. And lastly, it shows a diminishing public trust in the criminal justice system. These themes are fully aligned with the focus areas identified in paragraph 4 of our terms of reference. Honourable members, viewed collectively, these submissions reflect recurring patterns and concerns that broadly corroborate elements of the testimony presented before the ad hoc committee. Honourable members, most of the contributions do not provide probative evidence directly related to the allegations under consideration. But as I stated, it does provide an overall view and corroborates the interference in the criminal justice system. As I presented in the previous presentation last year, it is recommended that submissions be referred to the relevant portfolio committees or oversight bodies with the mandate to process them further. This approach, honourable members, will ensure that all matters raised by the public remain within Parliament's accountability framework and are directed to the institutional structures best positioned to consider and resolve. Honourable members, these I indicate are the overarching submissions that raises individual grievances and not directly related to the allegations made by Lieutenant General Makunazi and also other witnesses that appeared before the committee. Honourable members, to start, I want to raise the submissions that was submissions made by civil society. These submissions provide a system-level perspective which addresses, amongst others, the broader impact on public trust in the SAPS correctional services, the NPA, the criminal justice system, the judiciary, and national security. And this is as stated in our terms of reference, paragraph 4.1.15. Substantial submissions from civil society was received from Accountability Now, and this was provided through an affidavit. Secondly, the African Policing Civilian Oversight Forum, or APCOF, the Institute for Security Studies, ISS, and the Dullah Omar Institute, ICJR, at the University of Cape Town, or the Western Cape, apologies, Gun Free South Africa, and Mr. Ramabuela. Honourable members, these submissions should be ideally invited for oral presentations due to their importance aligned to our terms of reference. It could be considered that these presentations be allocated 40 minutes each, which will bring a total time of about 4 hours. In terms of the substantive submissions received by the committee, these are not from primary witnesses and thus could possibly not require consultations, as was made with the previous witnesses. Some could be invited or should be invited for oral presentation, while others could be considered as read. Oral presentations are not prescriptive in Parliament. However, it is definitely the best practice and strongly advisable for the committee, as the chairperson stated, to have the most pertinent submissions appear before the committee for oral presentation. Honourable members, I'm going to take you through the submissions that is highlighted for possible oral presentation. So I am making the names available today, and we have received or identified 15 submissions that could be heard by the committee. The first is from Ms. Patricia Mashale. The committee has previously engaged on this particular individual. her actual submission does not provide much detail. It is bulleted issues, so it will be good for her to flesh them out in a hearing setting. Secondly, from Brigadier Lovani, he is the former head of the Secret Service account. He was dismissed for allegedly blowing the whistle on corruption in SAPS. He made a previous protective disclosure, and as I understand, he will also be a witness at the Nhlanhla Commission. Then thirdly, we had a submission from Captain Ramalepe and two others. They allege that drug cartels are operating within the police service, or as I've called it, force, and the related corruption reported by Lieutenant General Makonazi. Fourthly, we have Mr. Dotieni. He is a former SAPS crime intelligence analyst, and he alleges political interference, corruption, and manipulation within SAPS leadership. He links these issues to the death of a senior police officer in 2021. This matter has also been previously discussed by members of the committee. Fifthly, we have Lieutenant General Matludi. As members know, he was one of the former divisional commissioners of crime intelligence. Through his attorney, he requested an opportunity to respond to allegations made against him during the ad hoc committee's hearings. Then next we have a submission from Mr. Nhlanhla, and for this we possibly need a consultation. Through his attorney, he submitted an affidavit and substantial evidence bundle, including a sworn statement and supporting documents. Moving forward, honorable members, we have a submission from Mr. Masakukwa. He alleges abuse of SAPS Crime Intelligence Secret Fund and the misuse of state resources. In the covert investigation of the Pala farm robbery, implicating the President, the Minister of Police, and senior SAPS officials. It's a quite detailed submission and could be heard by the committee. Then we have a submission from Mr. Poro. He accuses senior NPA and IDEC officials of abuse of power, racism, and unlawful asset seizures, stating that he and his family was humiliated and impoverished. Ninthly, honorable chair members, we have a submission from Mr. Chetty. He reports multiple arrests and asset freezes related to fraud and money laundering allegations, claiming abuse of the criminal justice system. Honorable members, Mr. Chetty also had a recent media report or media article that was published, which can be, can be made available to the committee, in which he details his submission to the ad hoc committee. We have an anonymous submission. This can be either read or heard through the appropriate channels, like an in-camera appearance. The person alleges systemic corruption, extortion, nepotism, and abuse of power within the SAPS, implicating serious officers and external associates. He or she claims interference in investigations, the manipulation of disciplinary processes, obstruction of IBIT inquiries, and protection of criminal activities. He also requests intervention and protection for whistleblowers. We also had a submission from Advocate Maremi. He alleges that Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi lied under oath regarding the handling of a fraud and corruption case against Lieutenant General Mthuli, thus misleading the ad hoc committee's inquiry and the public. He seeks to clarify that the Mthuli matter was solely about vehicle transactions and unrelated to broader allegations of corruption. Advocate Maremi submitted a detailed affidavit. So next we have a submission from Dr. Rolls. It is suggested that this submission be read. He alleges to have evidence of involvement of police and judiciary in mass criminal activities. He reports multiple arrests and asset freezes related to fraud and money laundering allegations, claiming abuse of the criminal justice system. However, this can also be heard as an oral presentation. Next, we have a submission from Advocate Makwabela. He alleges, or his submission revolves around the lack of protection to whistleblowers in the SAPS. He also alleges factions in SAPS leading to unfair promotions and a wide abuse of the disciplinary processes in SAPS. We also had a substantive submission from Mr. Mia. He alleges a conspiracy involving SAPS, the NPA, and the judiciary to manufacture evidence and secure wrongful convictions. However, members should note that he is currently incarcerated, and caution should be noted regarding Parliament's involvement in criminal convictions. Lastly, honourable members, we have a submission from Honourable Mr. Makohope, and this can also be read. However, it does provide a detailed account of alleged investigative failures, intimidation, and a lack of protection experienced by Municipal Oversight Office bearer following the referral of a corruption matters to SAPS. While the municipal governance aspect fall outside the committee's mandate, the submission has value in illustrating systemic weaknesses in SAPS investigations, follow-through, and whistleblower protection, and is considered as corroborative contextual evidence. Honourable members, if the committee could, at a minimum, allocate 40 minutes per individual for oral presentations, this can be concluded over 1 or 2 days. Moving on, honourable members, I just want to highlight regarding anonymous submissions and confidential documentation. We received 3 anonymous submissions, of which one was assessed as having high probative value. One of the the second anonymous submission was based primarily on hearsay, while the other related to a reported political killing and included claims of threats linked to anti-corruption activities and exposure thereto. Honourable members, this is a good example of a submission that could be referred to the police for investigations regarding the threat to the submitter's life, and also to have a report on the investigation that was conducted by SAPS on the reported political killing. We received no confidential or classified documents through the public participation process. Matters falling within the mandate of the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence will be referred accordingly. For instance, we have received a substantial submission from Mr. Painter alleging misuse of crime intelligence function. However, these allegations are not directly linked or aligned to the allegations made by Lieutenant General Makunazi, but again, it points to misuse of state resources, especially within the crime intelligence section of the police or division. Then, honorable members, we received quite a substantial number of submissions from former and serving SAPS members who report grievances related to unfair dismissals, irregular disciplinary action, promotions, and re-enlistment or reservist absorption. Honorable members, while these matters raise legitimate concerns about perceived labor practices within the SAPS and other government departments, Parliament's direct intervention in individual labor disputes is not advisable. These individual disputes fall within the judiciary jurisdiction of statutory labor dispute resolution mechanisms, such as the Triple SBC, the CCMA, and labor courts. However, the recurring patterns raised by the submissions remain important, and it points to a broader organizational concerns, notably the re-enlistment process, communication and feedback. That's quite a significant area within the SAPS. Limited pathways for community policing forum or CPF members and reservists to be absorbed into the SAPS as permanent members, ongoing systemic challenges in SAPS human resource management and allocation, and concerns regarding the application of disciplinary regulations, including allegations of the misuse of the expeditious dismissal process. Honorable members, just to note, the Portfolio Committee on Police have been engaged quite significantly in these matters, labor-related matters, as part of our strategic and policy-orientated basis on mandate. Honorable members, in conclusion, just to draw your attention, based on the public submissions, we are required to draft and adopt a public participation report, which will be published in the ATC for noting by the National Assembly. So it's not for consideration, only for noting. The public participation report will be very concise and factual in nature. It will not include the detailed submissions that was made. It will basically be based on the overarching themes that was identified through the public participation process. It will also then naturally also include the submissions that was heard for oral presentation, and the report will be prepared and adopted separately from the committee's final report, and will be drafted for adoption once the public participation process has been concluded. Thank you, honorable members. That concludes my presentation.
Nhlanhla, he was not supposed to take off.
I didn't know the chair has disappeared. I think
January 8th.
I think let's take the second presentation, honorable members. We'll locate the chair. Advocate Arensa, are you doing the second presentation?
Honorable Nhlanhla, yes, I don't know whether, can I just ascertain whether the report that we were required to table, in fact, already on the 7th or 8th of December, which we did, has been made available to you. We were required to indicate a schedule of witnesses, amongst other things. I think it has been resubmitted to you.
Okay. Okay, can you hold on? Mr. Ramano, did you share the report to members? Was the report shared with the members?
The report was shared with the members.
Thank you so much.
I've flighted it now.
Thank you so much. You can proceed, Advocate Arens.
Thank you. We were guided by the witnesses. The Honourable Committee indicated we should consult with and prepare statements for the second part of these hearings, and they appear on the screen. We met in person with Lieutenant General Khumalo, Lieutenant General Pashlani, Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, and Robert McBride, and we have interacted by way of email with Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, who has given to us a draft statement, which we will consult on Sunday to adjust it to accord with the terms of reference of the Honourable Committee. Mr. Makhotsi, we scheduled for Monday in an online meeting. You may or may not be aware that Mr. Makhotsi had either to indicated that he had security concerns, and these were between the time available in late December and now. They could not be addressed by Parliament. So we have agreed to meet with him and his lawyer online on Monday. As regards his appearance, whether physical or online, that will depend on him and the committee, I suppose. We had also interacted after this draft report was submitted on 7-8 December with the witnesses that I've indicated. We interacted with both with them personally and with their lawyers. Obviously, with the time of the year, there were difficulties with that, but I think we had worked up to about the 18th or 20th of December in working with these witnesses, having their consultations that we had with them, what's the word? The recordings, having that transcribed, sorry, and then preparing draft statements which have been exchanged. We are in a position to make the statements of Lieutenant General Khumalo and Lieutenant General Pashlani available by the end of this week. Pashlani probably by Saturday. So we would be in a position to proceed with their evidence as now indicated on the 14th, 15th, and 16th next week. The following week, we scheduled Mr. McBride and Mr. Mkwenazi, and the following week, O'Sullivan, who will be interviewed online. I think he's in London at the moment and had indicated that he'll only be back in the country, I think, after February. And besides, he had also indicated grave concerns about appearing in person because of the security situation. We had not engaged in the response to the question raised by Honorable Nomvalo. As regards the NPA, we had, of course, already interviewed the National Director of Public, or the former now National Director of Public Prosecution, Shamila Batoy. We had also interviewed Anthea Johnson, the head of IDAC. We had not engaged with any other officials, prosecutors, or anyone else at the NPA. As far as the judiciary is concerned, we had not identified any member of the judiciary to interview. And as far as my memory serves, I don't think the Honourable Committee had done so either. If identified, we'll obviously approach either such an official or judge or former judge if indicated. Yes, the emphasis has been somewhat on the SAPS because of the terms of reference focuses mainly on the allegations made by Lieutenant General Mkwenazi on the 6th of July last year, and that's been the focus of our work. As regards the presentation made by Nicolette, a number of these submissions had originally been directed to us, but we sent them on to the parliamentary technical team. They had sifted through, I'm sure, a couple of hundred, if not 1,000 public submissions, and Nicolette has provided the summary. We will engage with Nicolette and her team on these submissions. I don't have any comment on her summary that 15 or so possible oral presentations be made to the Honourable Committee, but I leave that within your discretion. Otherwise, Acting Chair, Honourable Chair, we are on track to present the evidence of let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 6 witnesses, and we'll see how it goes with Mr. Mokgotsi on Monday if he survives January 8th. Thank you, Acting Chair.
But the last part, Senior Counsel. Thank you very much, Senior Counsel. I think we must commend the work you and your team has done in terms of consultations. 5 out of 6 is a sterling job. It does seem like the chair is not yet back, so we members were going to rotate as we have made it our tradition. and we're going to deal with both reports on public participation and on the timetable and the work done in terms of consulting the witnesses. And we must make consideration on the time frames and the extension that we've been given, and what needs to be done, and how do we prioritize, reprioritize, and all of that. So we're going to start with the ANC, the Honorable Sangoni.
Honorable Nhlanhla, may I interject just briefly?
Yes.
May I request that Advocate Mkhize perhaps introduce herself briefly, and also that I will stay on, but if both Advocate Mkhize and Advocate Mokgweetsi be excused, because we do have some consultations planned now for this afternoon with some witnesses. Thank you.
That's allowed, Senior Counsel. Advocate Mkhize, can you please shortly or briefly introduce yourself to the committee?
Good afternoon, honorable members. As Arenza SC had...
With your video on, please.
Oh, with my video on, okay. Okay, I'm not sure if it's on.
It's on, but with issues.
Oh, I have no idea what is happening.
Kodwa mamkhize nokufika Nkosi yami. Sawubona.
Sanibonani. I don't... Oh, it's picking up on my phone. Just, I'm really sorry. Apologies about that. Let's switch it off. Okay. There you go.
Icathulo sizibonile.
Ngizibonile izicathulo, ngiyaxolisa kakhulu. Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Bongiwe Mkhize, and I am a member of the Johannesburg Bar. I'm based at Group 621, and it is an honor for me to join this team, the legal team, as well as to work with you as the committee. So, ngiyaxolisa ngicathulo evelile.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mkhize. I think the shoes issue is not really an issue. It was just on a lighter note. We welcome you officially to the committee work. But just to brief you that here we work, there is no time for knocking off. We even knock off at 1 a.m. in the morning. So you must prepare yourself for such kind of an extensive kind of work. Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. We're back to rotation.
Honorable Acting Chair, may they be excused?
Yes, they can be excused to do their work. It's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Honorable
much.
Sangoni, it's your time now for rotation.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and let me echo your welcome to Advocate Mkhize. We can tell that she's a hard-working young woman. One of the shoes were off, so she's used to this late nights and things of that nature. Honorable Acting Chair, thank you so much. Let me thank the presentations that have been meticulously prepared for the committee, both by Ms. Nicolette as well as Advocate Aransa. Maybe I will start off on behalf of the ANC on some of the presentations, and then my colleagues will come in. On the issue of the public submissions, we've noted that we haven't had sight of the original submissions, but we do accept the report as presented by the Parliamentary Research Unit. We accept the bona fides of those submissions as summarized. We have also noted the recommendations that have been made, especially the ones of the civil society, and we request firstly that those original submissions be shared with members. When it comes to the individual submissions, there again we're requesting the original submission documents, but maybe just to highlight a few issues. I don't know, members will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the issue of Ms. Patricia Mashale, we had discussed it when we were at Hoshimamburu, and the view of the committee was that it would not be necessary to call her at that point. Granted, this was based on the evidence that was before us, which was largely reference to her in relation to social media posts. If there's a feeling that there's been new substantive information that has since been brought and that decision must be reviewed, we won't have a problem with it. But we had thought that we had dispensed with the issue of Ms. Patricia Mashale. So we're not really supporting her being heard, unless, as I said, there's new information that has come through. But even then, Ms. Nicolette did say that her submission is bullet points, so we're not sure about that. Chair, we also want to make a suggestion that where allegations or accusations are being made against individuals, it must be accompanied by a sworn statement before that is heard. And this is really to protect our work, from challenge. I know that a sworn statement is not necessarily a prerequisite for appearing before Parliament. But in such cases, we would think that whomever is making the accusation should be willing to depose an affidavit to that effect. And if necessary, anybody who has accusations being leveled against them should be afforded an opportunity to respond or right of reply. We accept the list that has been provided of the other 14 individuals who made submissions. Amongst them, I remember there was Advocate Mkhwebi, General Mdluli, and a number of other individuals, Dr. Ross and so forth. We think those should be heard, and the committee should try and make the time available to hear those submissions together with the civil society. When we went through the submission, Chairperson, as the ANC, we felt that there were areas which we do have the numbers which we can pass through to the committee staff, but there were submissions that were dealing with matters of organized crime, crime intelligence failures, and I'm not sure if the ones that are proposed directly align to the submission numbers as we had captured them. So I will share those submission numbers. Now, they are not many, but we believe that if they were to be evidenced, they firstly provide collaborative evidence to some of the things that we've been hearing, but that they are so serious in nature that they should be afforded an opportunity to be heard. So I will submit that. And then finally, on the public submissions, Chairperson, where there are allegations of victimization or a failure in whistleblower protection, we think that we must be able to prioritize those. I think it's common cause that our laws and really our entire system of dealing with whistleblower protection is not sufficient, and we may want to hear from members of the public who have such issues that they would want to bring to the attention of Parliament. I think, let me stop there on the public submissions, Chair, but we support the recommendations that some of these matters must be referred to the relevant portfolio committees as well, specifically the portfolio committee on police on matters that relate to the subs. Chair, our understanding at this point, and perhaps other honourable members will speak to the matter. I don't think that there was a intentional sidelining or undermining or an attempt at circumventing, calling members of the judiciary. There has been a number of witnesses who would have made, accusations or statements against members of the judiciary, and it has been very difficult to get from the witnesses that have appeared before us who from the judiciary are these accusations being made against, except for the one judge who I think was in some high-profile case. So we hold no opposition to bringing members of the judiciary as and when those allegations are brought to them. But I think that they've been far between, and we obviously wouldn't want to just go on a witch hunt where no such allegations are presented, but we will support them being called when that information comes. Then, Chair, on the issue of the program and the witness list as presented by Advocate Arendse, I think the first thing we want to raise is that we do believe, as suggested by the chair, that General Phahlane should go first on the 14th, given the time constraints that were raised. We want clarity, and we vehemently reject at this point any consideration of online hearings. I think our terms of reference were very clear that the witnesses must present themselves physically before the committee. This relates to Mr. Paul O'Sullivan as well as Mr. Brown Mohotz. Now, the reasons that are being given, I think in one meeting we were told that Mr. O'Sullivan is abroad. I think sufficient time has been given to Mr. O'Sullivan to present himself before the committee. We would want that we consider and utilize any avenues that Parliament has to compel him to appear before this committee. We're not going to do online hearings. If Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, as this indictment that was sent to us shows, is able to impersonate an IPID member and do all sorts of things, there's absolutely no reason why he can't come before a Parliament of the people to answer for himself. So we reject any consideration of an online hearing for him. We don't think that the reasons provided are adequate given the gravity of the allegations that has been brought against him. And we would wish that the committee goes back to engage Mr. O'Sullivan and indicate it's the view of the committee that he must present himself physically. Similarly with Mr. Brown Mohotz, I don't quite remember the essence of the security concerns that he was raising. However, a number of witnesses have appeared before this committee. He himself has presented himself before Justice Nhlanhla's commission. So what security considerations would there be when he has to appear before Parliament? So we reject any consideration of an online hearing there as well. And then finally, Chair, on the issue of members of Parliament, I think it was Honourable Matheus who had raised it earlier. We have the same concern as the ANC. I mean, this is a matter that has been ventilated a lot in this committee, and I think the program should be adjusted to afford an opportunity for Honourable Collar Barnard as well as Honourable Adams to also present their evidence before the committee. Chair, I'm going to stop there, but I'm not sure if other members of the African National Congress would mind to make any additions. Thank you so much, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sangoni. Honorable Khanyane is back. Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chair. Do you want me to opportunity to speak?
No, just a little bit of a brief, Chair. We have received the presentation from the Senior Counsel in light
I've been following that.
Okay, that's fine, Chair. Yeah. You can I'm fine. You can take over now. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Sangoni has concluded, and let me thank you so much for steering the ship. Can I check with the members of the African National Congress if you are done before we take the MKP?
Chair, good morning to you and good morning to all the participants in the meeting, honorable members and all colleagues, and compliment for the new year. Now, on my part, Chairperson, I am fully covered by the intervention that was made by Honorable Sangon at the moment. Thanks.
Yeah. Not to put Honorable Nhlanhla in a disadvantage, can I check with you, Honorable Nhlanhla, if there is something you may want to say?
No, Chair, I'm fine and fully agree that there is no virtual arrangement where witnesses must be dragged kicking and screaming to appear before the committee. Thank you so much.
Okay. And that the program should start with General Patlani. Do you support that?
Agreed, Chair.
Yes, Chair. Yes, supported.
Okay. So the suggestion then will be that General Patlani should come on Wednesday, followed by General Kumalo on Thursday and Friday. Can I then move to the MKP?
Thank you, Chair. I think, Chair, it's good that this is a seventh administration. I think this Paul O'Sullivan think this is a sixth administration. When they allow Pillay to give evidence why he was away, he must be here physically. We are not going to allow him. This is the seventh administration. MK party is here. Now, this European attitude, because he undermines everyone. He's got nothing to do that he is busy the security concern. Security concern when he's in charge of all the state agencies. But be that as it may, Chair, the issue of the judiciary, and I think my colleague has raised that we can't say that the evidence leader is very aware. We've raised names there. It's not that we never raise name of the judges or from that sector. We need to have them here. It's not only about the police. We have judgment which leaves much to be desired. They are not law unto themselves. If we say there's a constitution, whether we differ, some of us, we differ anyway with the constitution we have. That is the best in the world. It's debatable. But we can't have only the police here. When criminals are being allowed to run amok, white collar crimes, by the same judiciary we are talking about. Mkhweng, the former Chief Justice, raised that as well. There's a lot of we can come back again and name these judges which we want to, if we agree. It can't be that they are law unto themselves. That is only about the police where there's problems. We've got a problem in the judiciary in this country, and it's a fact. There's no witch hunt in that. And Comrade Nomvalo, Honorable Member Nomvalo raised that this is not only about the police. Hence, we are having a joint committee here in this ad hoc committee. No one should feel like there's a witch hunt against anyone. The country wants to know the truth in this country. People of this country are tired. We need to have this judiciary as well. If it's a judge, it's a sitting judge. We have a sitting generals who appeared before us. If Justice Mlambo has to come here, he must come here. We are not going to nest feelings and sentiments of other people. This country almost collapsed in front of our eyes because of the lack of ethics from all the state institutions. Now, we have to do our job, Chair, and make sure that we don't leave any stone unturned because of time. Because some people maybe are more important than others. Judges are human beings. If a judge has to come and appear before us, so be it. So I'm a bit disturbed when the evidence leader says he doesn't remember. No, you must remember. There's a list there. We mentioned names, even if we didn't agree. There's names there. Unless then we said this ad hoc committee was for the police only. In my view, Chair, I think we have to have that as a matter of agents. We have to complete, and if we agree about the other names, so be it. Let's do what we're supposed to do. We've agreed, Chair, that we're gonna have everyone here who's relevant. Judges are relevant in this ad hoc committee. They are not supernatural beings. We need them here. There's a lot of maleficence in this country. People suffered, and people are still suffering as we speak because of some of their judgments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. Can I come in, Chair, briefly?
Yes, Honorable Nomvalo.
Yeah, no, let me start, Chair, by saying that we've been largely covered by some of the presentations or the points rather that have been submitted by the first speaker, Honorable Sangoni, on the issue of online interviews. We fully agree, we fully align ourselves with what she has said. There is no need to repeat it. And also, I've been covered by what the latter speaker has said. But in addition, Chair, we just want, I don't know what is the position of the legal team on this matter that I'm going to raise, but I was hoping that it is going to be part of their presentation. The issue of witnesses who have appeared before this committee and after their appearance, statements are made against the submissions that they have made, which might make their statements which they made before this committee to be a lie or to be untrue, and that would legally mean that they have lied under oath. Practically, the issue of Pegitele, for instance, the committee would remember that when he came to the committee, he made some averments which were denied, and some were opposed by by Mr. Nhlanhla in Khosumampuru. So, how do we deal with such matters which trigger a response? Because if what was said by Mr. Nhlanhla is anything to go by, then that means to a certain extent, Mr. Cele lied before this committee, but it would be incomplete to make that determination, having not given him an opportunity to reply to what has been raised or to what was raised by Mr. Nhlanhla against him. So are we not supposed maybe to call Pegitele, either for him to make a written submission, which were made against him by Mr. Nhlanhla, because it's going to be compulsory, or it's going to be necessary in future for us to make a determination relying on the submission on the submissions respectively that have been made by the two individuals that I'm speaking about. So I think, Chair, our view as the MK party is that we can't leave it hanging like that. Maybe we'll have to request for a written submission from Mr. Cele to reply to all the allegations that were made by Mr. Nhlanhla against him. Or maybe we invite him to come back to the committee and reply. I'm raising this because Mr. Cele is not part of the list that has been presented before this committee by the legal team. Then the second one, Chair, is that I think last year in one of our meetings, we agreed as the committee that we will have to call General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi to come back, maybe at the tail end of our interviews, to afford him an opportunity, because 80%, if not 90%, and if not all witnesses have replied to allegations he made. Some have denied, some have rubbished all the allegations. So it will be procedurally fair for the committee to allow or to afford him an opportunity to come back. We even said when we made that submission that in a normal application proceeding, you allow an applicant to file an affidavit, you allow the respondent to reply, and you allow the applicant to come back. We said even though we are of an understanding that this is not a litigation process, but it will be procedurally fair from an objective point of view to allow him to come back to reply to all the replies that have been made to his allegations. So I'm raising that, Chair, because it's also not part of the list or of the names, rather, that have been presented. We understand that there's limitation of time, Chair, but that must not compromise the quality of our inquiry or investigation, because a report of this whole process will be taken to court. So we must not open loopholes consciously so. We must avoid anything that might come back to compromise the credibility of our report. Then the last one, Chair. Our view is that the 15 submissions that have been made at a face value are going to assist this committee and will point the committee to a direction of probing the NPA further. We understand that the NDPP appeared before this committee, and the head of the IDEC appeared also. But we are not confident that this committee has sufficient evidence that it can use in its report to make any determination in relation to any allegation about the NPA or to any allegation rather about the judiciary. Our interim position, Chair, is that I'm saying interim. I'm carefully using this word because we have not read the full content of the submissions. So maybe when we read them, we might make a different determination. But at this stage, Chair, and at a first value, our view is that the committee must entertain those submissions, and largely through oral submissions. And that might require us to work tirelessly and around the clock. That might require us maybe to invite even 2 witnesses on a day, like we've been doing previously. And the chair or the committee might have to agree to a point that they will have to minimize time for members to ask questions so that all the relevant information that will assist this committee to finalize its inquiry or report is taken into consideration. Thank you very much.
Chair,
Was I even audible, Chair?
No, I thought your is no problem mokgotsi lapho. Salungise accommodation.
Seemingly we have lost the chair, Honorable Nhlanhla. You know what to do.
It looks like
I think next was Honorable Shongwe.
All right, thank you, new chair. Chair, I think when I'm covered kulama input akhona, but kube kuyiphutha elikhulu kakhulu futhi chair uma singake senze lento efunwayo lo baba bathi uPaul Sullivan. Ngeke ngasho before sivala ngathi ithatheni passport yalomuntu ngoba uzobaleka. And indeed now we are told ukuthi useLondon. It's a pity that chair now we need to submit certain affidavits in order to call certain people. But I agree with you, Honorable Kusela, ukuthi lona ubaba uPaul Sullivan melabizwe and as physically. But in pertaining to our judges and the prosecutors and the rest of laba amagama esifungabiza, I feel ukuthi some of them don't even need an affidavit to be called in. For example, the judge elinikeze ubaba uPaul Sullivan incwadi yokuthi we can't arrest him unless you inform him 48 hours before. That judge needs to see us. Kunenkulumo emele asixoxele yona. Number 2, The same matter, Yaga Paul O'Sullivan is struck out of the roll, the document that you got last night. Those allegations against him were struck off the roll. Mawifunda Leanto, it's so suspicious kakhulu. Naloyo judge loyo, naloyo prosecutor, they need to see us. Bazosixoxela ukuthi yini lento labayenza. Ayifune affidavit ke le chair, if I may say. So I think I would propose to chair and the committee that I know that we are pressed for time and we are supposed to finish in due time in February. However, we won't be doing justice to the South Africans. South Africans want people to be arrested. And I would suggest we arrest the few that we have done. We are done with this Bonban and Kuban and King, as far as jail, as right. But we can't miss a space where we further probe these things as is totally must figure Pagat. There is more that came when we were already in session where we ad hoc. There was less that we understood before we went in, but now more has come. And if you check less cases begile, some people might find indlela yokusibalekela. There's a lot that we need to probe. We've discovered what this ad hoc committee is a necessity. And fortunate for it, I found any commission, it doesn't waste